What's going on, guys? It's Steve. So that game 3 in Chicago just proved how good and how important and valuable Rajon Rondo is. Not just for controlling the tempo, but just for playmaking in general. Now, I knew that Boston was going to steal at least one game in Chicago. I've said that numerous times. I said Chicago will probably win this series in 5 or 6 games. Most likely go up 3-1. Boston wins game 5, then Chicago will win game 6. I've said that. It could go either way, 5 or 6 games. I'm not quite sure. I'm leaning more towards 6 though. But Chicago's not going to lose this game. Well, they wouldn't have lost the game. Pretty much what I'm saying is if Jimmy Butler didn't play as terrible as he did, he made a lot of big plays on and off the ball, but, you know, just scoring-wise, missing a lot of shots. He wasn't in rhythm at all this game. And, you know, Chicago, they're not going to win without Jimmy Butler, you know, putting up shots like that. And if Jimmy Butler starts making at least 50% of those, or like 45% like he has in the first 2 games, Chicago would have won game 3. Simple as that. Chicago would have easily won that game 3 without question. You know, Isaiah Thomas had a big game. Avery Bradley had a big game. Kelly Olynyk, even Al Horford. You know, the entire Boston team, they played really, really good. Defensively, they played really good on Jimmy Butler. A lot of traps, especially in the corner, trapping Jimmy Butler in the corner, you know, making him pass that ball up, giving it to like a Jerry Grant or like a Michael Carter-Williams. This is what Chicago should have done, and this is what I said they should have done. And since they didn't do it, it cost them the loss, that and Jimmy Butler struggling. But if they would have done what I said, they would have won the game. And what I said was they should have had Michael Carter-Williams start the game and force him to drive to the basket on Isaiah Thomas constantly to get him in foul trouble. You're not going to get the call every single time. You may go down throughout the first half of the game just because you're trying to get him in foul trouble. But once you get him in foul trouble and you reach that 4 to 5 foul mark and he has to sit out, let's say sit out in the 3rd quarter until the 4th quarter, that is when Dwyane Wade and Jimmy Butler go in attack mode. That's when you go in attack mode. That is how important getting Isaiah Thomas in foul trouble is, because if Isaiah Thomas is off the floor, this team, for the most part, they can't function on offense. Now, in that 3rd quarter, when Isaiah Thomas rested, like the final 4 to 5 minutes in that 3rd quarter, I'm not going to lie to you guys, they were moving the ball. Marcus Smart is a really good player, you know, really good role player coming off the bench, you know, just defensively going for those rebounds and just boxing out and hustling. He's that type of player. He's not going to give you 20 points per game, but he's going to be a really valuable asset to a team. Sort of like an Anderson Varejao, not going to give you a whole ton of points, but his defense, you know, his hustling, his heart, that's why he's so valuable to this team. So again, if Jimmy Butler didn't struggle in that game, I think Chicago would have had a better chance of winning. Who knows if they would have won? I think they could have if he didn't struggle as much as he did. But they're definitely going to win Game 4, go up 3-1. Boston will probably win Game 5, and then Game 6 in Chicago. Chicago will close out the series. Trust me, Dwyane Wade's not going to allow his team to go down, you know, to lose a 2-0 lead and lose the series. That's a fact. Not even a question about that. So what I want to see in Game 4 from the Chicago Bulls, attack mode. I want to see attack mode instantly. Michael Carter-Williams go in attack mode. Force Isaiah Thomas to guard either Michael Carter-Williams or Dwyane Wade. Put Dwyane Wade at the point guard position. If Michael Carter-Williams isn't doing well, put Dwyane Wade at that point guard position. Bring in, let's say you could have Jimmy Butler, Dwyane Wade, Nikola Mirotic, Robin Lopez, and that Fitzer dude. Okay, go big on him. You know, have Mirotic can shoot, so he can play the 3 spot. Have that Fitzer dude at the 4 spot, and then Robin Lopez at the 5. Okay, you have Jimmy Butler at the 2 and Dwyane Wade at the 1. Guess what? They're gonna have to either bench Isaiah Thomas, or if they don't, guess what? Dwyane Wade is the king of drawing fouls. Force him to drive to the basket. Force him to post up Isaiah Thomas. That is how you get Isaiah Thomas out of the game. That is the key to defeating the Boston Celtics with Rajon Rondo out of the game, because that is how important Rajon Rondo is to this team. I'm out. Peace.